Greetings, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the floor. I'm very happy for kickstarting this third day. Before anything else, let me take a moment to congratulate everyone, starting from the organization committee to all the speakers and the participants, for this very dynamic and engaging event. So, as you may not necessarily guess from the title of my part, I will be talking about AI and AI ethics. Now, I'm always delighted for the opportunity to discuss those issues, as AI ethics is one of the topics that are closest to my heart and really at the core of my research interests. However, I'm particularly thrilled today to discuss it with an audience such as the one we are having here, comprised of people who design and practically work with different aspects of AI systems on a daily basis. So I'm very happy for the opportunity, and I'm also looking forward to the discussion that hopefully we will have afterwards. Now, there is no doubt that currently AI is having a summer like no other. We're witnessing a profound progress and development in AI research, development, and deployment. Everything is moving really fast, and everyone seems to be very excited, very keen on using different AI-premised applications. And I mean, really, why not? AI and algorithms are considered to offer a wide range of new opportunities for individuals and the society at large. And it has rapidly become integrated in numerous sectors and industries, from mere recommendation systems, advertising, online moderation, to the very legal system, the provision of healthcare, and even policymaking. And what is impressive is that there is virtually something for everyone, from business and leisure to medicine or even picture editing. So if everything is this overwhelmingly positive, what could keep someone up at night? Let's take a moment. In fact, there could be many things. For example, it could be that for so many years, pop culture has built the image and along with it, the fear of a super intelligent, a super artificially intelligent technology that could or would destroy mankind. From the humanoids and the cybernetics of the Terminator to an AI that becomes all of a sudden conscious and realizes that, the planet could be better off without people. And although admittedly distant, these fears may be genuine for some people and worth discussing. Looking at less distant challenges, it could be the widespread of AI that changes the way we think, that changes the way we perceive the world, the way we do things. And it does so in a way that we don't always realize it, that keeps people up at night. It might be that the rapid expansion of AI, the automation of everyday routine tasks, and the productivity mismatch that this creates can lead to massive job displacement. And in several industries, it may lead people and professions to extinction. It may lead people out of work. Or it may be, and it's awfully topical and awfully recent, based on what happened just a few days back between Iran and Israel, that AI and automated weaponry change dramatically the way warfare works in a way that can be arguably more dangerous for humanity than the Skynet. And all of these are much more proximate fears. And certainly they are very legitimate fears that could keep anyone up at night. However, what I want to talk to you about is slightly different, not that futuristic, and maybe less exciting at a first glance. But it's certainly not less important, and concerns the three things that keep me up at night as an AI ethicist and a researcher of technology regulation. Namely, the ever-expanding role of AI in decision-making, the idea that AI is more objective and neutral than human intelligence, and the fact that AI designers and developers do not always realize their power and agency. Let's start with how widely AI is currently used to inform or shape critical decisions. Now, promising automated and efficient reasoning, different AI systems are extensively employed in decision-making, either to make decisions or simply to inform decisions. And in fact, they're used in a wide range of critical and consequential areas that affect their daily lives. Whether you will have whether you will be able to get the loan that will allow you to buy a house for your family, whether you will get the chance to be interviewed for the job you applied for, whether you will be considered eligible for a welfare program, this decision may be made automatically by an AI system or may be influenced with the use of AI. Similarly, how many different stories you see on your news feed, how many different resources are available to you when you're browsing the news, as well as what you can say online, down to the very words that you're allowed to use, may be directly or indirectly influenced by an AI. Yet many people don't know that such key decisions about them, about their lives, about how they enjoy and exercise their rights, are made or informed with the use of AI. And this is a problem. And what is even more problematic is that even in those cases when individuals are aware of an AI involvement, there is the prevailing assumption that AI inherently delivers superior or more impartial outcomes than fellow humans. In fact, research has consistently shown that people tend to believe that by default, decisions made by AI are more accurate, unbiased, error-free, particularly when we are comparing them with decisions made by fellow humans. However, as you already know, reality reveals a more nuanced picture. AI systems can indeed offer more efficiency and can be consistent in several cases. However, they're not immune to biases and limitations which are inherent in their design and their data inputs. Therefore, blindly trusting AI objectivity overlooks the need for critical evaluation, for continuous oversight, and at the same time, it may make us less willing to contest those decisions, even though we would contest a decision made by a fellow human. And this is very problematic. And all of this are related to the biggest problem and the key reason why I am up at nights. Namely that AI designers and AI developers do not realize their power, their agency, the pivotal role they have in shaping the capabilities of AI, and at the same time in ensuring that AI is designed, developed, and deployed in an ethical way for beneficial societal ends. And this is what I will be talking about in the remaining of my time today. And I will start with the very significant role design plays. So, to understand the power of designers, let's first of all see the power of design. And let's start with the physical world. I guess that you all recognize this rather annoying and often car-wrenching structures. This is a speed bump designed to influence drivers in order to adhere with the speed limitations. So while there is already a legal requirement, design is used to complement and enforce it. And although you may choose to ignore the law, ignoring those speed bumps would rather be difficult because you will damage your car. Similarly, you may recognize this very, very annoying sound. It is there to ensure that you do something that the law requires, and at the same time, you act responsibly. So both of these examples illustrate that beyond legal frameworks, ethical considerations, and market dynamics, design exerts a profound, although often invisible, influence on human behavior. What makes this form of regulation particularly potent is that it is silently integrated into our everyday life, into everyday objects and into the environment around us. And as a result, it's much more difficult to challenge or circumvent. And while these examples showcase like rather innocent uses of design to influence human behavior, I will tell you a much darker story. And to tell you this story, I will have to get you to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, and more specifically to the old Long Island coastline. Now, What can be wrong? What type of dark and sinister design can be hidden in such a beautiful place? The story I'm about to tell you is the story about the bridges one needs to cross in order to get to Long Island, which are the ones you see on your screens. Now, the problem with these bridges, which you already may observe, is that they are considerably low. They are lower than the average bridge. In fact, they are so low that although cars can cross them easily, buses cannot. And this was not a matter of practicality. This was not a mistake. This was not a design oversight. On the contrary, it was a calculated decision. It was the calculated decision of this man, Robert Moses, a pivotal yet highly controversial figure in urban design, who ordered designers to build the Southern State Parkway bridges extra low so that people of lower socioeconomic status could not reach the Long Island bridges because they would need to use a bus. They didn't own a car, and the low bridge would prevent them. In essence, what Moses did, and he admitted that he did it consciously, was to leverage design to solidify his personal biases and beliefs, using infrastructure as a means of social exclusion. And that was politics built into design. So considering what we talked about so far, it should be by now rather obvious that design is an incredibly powerful tool for influencing, shaping, and directing human behavior. It can be utilized in diverse ways and for various purposes, from very good ones, very noble ones, to much less noble causes. And essentially, it serves as a form of politics through alternative means. More importantly, design embodies and reflects values, views, ideals. And although sometimes we may believe that, the design is in a way because this is the only way it can be, in fact, design is all about choice. It embodies and reflects different types of choices. And if this is true in the physical environment, where admittedly there are some constraints posed by, for example, the laws of nature, the fact that design is very potent is even more prominent when we're talking about the digital environment, where essentially everything is made out of code and design decisions. In fact, numerous scholars from the field of science and technology studies and science and technology research have underscored the significant influence of the designers and the developers, the way that design decisions actually form the digital environment. And all of this can be rather successfully summarized in the renowned maxim by Lawrence Lessig, that code is law for the digital environment. Particularly in the digital landscape, design elements and technical architectures play a pivotal role in establishing the norms, in regulating the way people act, the way people behave, and the way people interact, defining the patterns of what can happen on the online environment. Thus, the choices made by all of you, designers and developers, shape not only the technologies as such, but they also have far-reaching implications, exerting a profound influence on the way in which individuals navigate and engage with the digital world, as well as the ways in which such technologies embody and reflect values. Now, having all this in mind, let's get to one of the most compelling questions about AI. What is ethical AI? Although it's not in my list, obviously, for an AI ethicist, this is a question that keeps us not only up at night, but it's something that we constantly think about, and we try to find new ways to frame, define it, and if we are lucky enough, new ways to actually put it from theory to practice. So, building upon what we talked about so far and embracing the critical role of designers and developers, ethical AI is nothing more than AI technologies and systems designed, developed, and deployed by people who are ethically aware, by individuals who reflect upon the implications and the ethical challenges of their creations throughout every phase of design, development, and deployment. Yet that is easier said than done. So for designers to be able to reflect and answer about what difficult implications and what different outcomes their technologies may have, they need to reflect upon a number of questions. And the problem is that for most of them, they're not equipped. They lack the training. They lack the necessary resources. If one is simply looking for principles to be considered, there are several inspiring texts out there, either developed by intergovernmental organizations like the EU guidelines, or by private thinking tanks, or even by private companies. Reviewing all of them, one can easily identify three core principles that are largely considered as the cornerstones for ethical AI, namely fairness, explainability, and transparency. These principles are widely recognized as the essential pillars guiding the development and deployment of AI systems. So, to assist you in trying to develop and design ethical AI, let's have a look at them. Ensuring fairness demands that developers pose critical questions regarding the AI models that they develop. Can you guarantee the fairness for all? Especially, can you guarantee that the AI system, when deployed, will be fair towards historically marginalized groups? What measures have you taken to implement implemented to mitigate biases and ensure that you can dispel false assumptions, that you can prevent false assumptions from being crystallized in your code and perpetuated by your system? It's an imperative to scrutinize these aspects of your design, of the system that you are creating, very closely, and do it from day zero to the day that you finally have whatever you're designing in your hands. The second part is explainability. Explainability focuses on demystifying AI, making it less of a black box, and offering the user or anyone who might be affected by the use of an AI system an overview of what is actually this technology. What is this technology about? What it can do? And most importantly, what we tend to forget, what this technology cannot do. What are the limitations? Which is the window of error? And it requires that designers and developers are able to set lines on the underlying rules or principles governing their AI model, the rationality behind their outputs, what database have been utilized to curate the model, what type of methodologies and expertise were employed, and what was the training process for the model or the algorithm. By addressing those questions, you can build trust, and you can also fight opacity, which is commonly associated or taken for granted when we are talking about AI systems. And especially considering what a critical role AI systems may play on an individual's life, it is a matter of fairness to allow them to have this information before they accept the output of an AI system as fair, as error-free and unbiased. And then there is transparency. Now, before saying anything, we all need to admit that transparency has become the key word of our times. It's used so often, and it's oftentimes used without really knowing what is meant by transparency. It's so widely used that it can mean from everything to nothing at all. Transparency complements explainability regarding demystifying and setting light on what AI is actually about. And it centers around providing the necessary information to end users and the people affected by AI. It entails openly sharing insights about the way that the AI system functions. And it is not only about fostering trust, it is also about ensuring accountability and contestability. Transparency is about telling people that an AI model is used to inform decisions affecting their lives. It's also about explaining them how the model works and doing that in a way that makes sense to them, like not necessarily using your technical jargon, but trying to find ways to demonstrate how it works in a way that makes sense to them. It's about telling people that there might be flaws, that there are boundaries to the capabilities of an AI. For example, it's about telling them that, ChatGPT may not always give you the right answer. It's also about disclosing the methods and the sources utilized to produce the data that was used for training the model. It's also about informing the data subjects that their personal information is going to be used to train an algorithm. And all those are essentially used to build transparency and to make AI less of a black box. Now you're probably wondering, okay, but how? This is not my job. This was not my training. Well, the first step would be acknowledging and embracing the reality that this is not a mere technical question. This is a socio-technical challenge with broad ethical and social ramifications. By recognizing this, we can begin to navigate the complex environment of AI ethics, AI ethical development and deployment. When exploring how to secure that you're developing an ethically sound AI, one needs to focus on what they have and what they plan to do. Now, I would love to go through this entire list with you one by one, but since we have no time to go through everything, from what you see on your screen, I want to draw your attention to two things. First of all, your team. When considering ethics, the composition of the team can make all the difference, can play a very significant role, like the synergy, the diversity, the inclusivity within the team can facilitate the identification, discussion, and ultimately the resolution of ethical issues, no less because ethics is a collective question. So make sure that you have a team that can support you into identifying and tackling those ethical questions, and make sure that it's diverse and inclusive enough. Secondly, look at your data sets. Make sure that the training material is appropriate, because the data entries can make the whole difference between a system that perpetuates biases, those biases that already exist in our society, and a system that ignores or even rectifies them. Hence, look closely and scrutinize your source material and make sure that you're not focusing on your convenience when you're choosing your material, but you're actually looking at the end result. And of course, it is an imperative to focus both on the current state and the future intentions of the project you are working for. And you need to look at risks and unintended consequences, focusing on who may be affected and how, and finding ways to mitigate those risks and protect those most vulnerable. But ultimately, I think that the most significant step in designing and developing ethical AIs and really embracing your role as powerful agents in ethical development and deployment of AI systems lies in deeply contemplating the purpose behind our pursuit for artificial intelligence. Why do we need AI? And what motivates us to embark on this journey to develop this new type of intelligence? The motivation behind AI is augmenting, not replacing human intelligence. It is enhancing the quality of life for everyone and not just benefit some particular categories. Finally, it's about actively combating biases, prejudice, false assumptions, all those generalizations that exist in the society. We can do it through AI. We can elevate societal standards. We can empower individuals and cultivate a world characterized by fairness and inclusivity by designing and developing AI systems that look beyond the biases of our society. And as I'm fortunate enough today to be among, to talk to people who design, develop, and deploy these technologies, I would like to seize this opportunity, like completing this short space of mine, to urge you to embrace and understand your agency, to embrace and understand the critical role that you're having in building exactly this type of AI. I know that oftentimes your employment contracts, the market pressure, the hectic rhythms of work and technological development may make you feel less powerful than you are. But don't forget that at the end of the day, your code builds the future, reflects your values, and most importantly, it is the code that will build the world. So I would like to encourage you all, if you want to take one thing of what we discussed about, is choose your code wisely and try to build the technology for the world you would actually like to live in. And ethics might seem a boring way to do that, but it's a safe way to ensure that you will be proud of the technology that you are developing and you will continue feeling safe about it. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and I would happily receive your questions. Thank you.